What's going on, everybody? We are here for Comics Underground Live.
Let's do it.
I like the title. Do y'all like that title? I think this is going to be a fun one, a fun title.
I like it.
It's the first one I've seen with some motion picture to it, dude. So, yeah, you got one up on everybody else.
I spent a couple of hours as soon as I got off of work working on that thing. I'm going to clean it up. I'll make it better. It'll get better as we move forward. This is episode 2. We're going to look at some indie comics and kind of see what looks good, what looks like it might need some work. Of course, last week I could not. I got some crap for this, but I could not get past Pitter Patter. I had to start off this week with Pitter Patter.
Is that the Penguin? Is that the new Penguin?
Yeah, no, this is a testament to the amazing artwork that's going on in this book. Pitter Patter. But I'm not going to focus too much. We spent a lot of time last week talking about what I've backed already and what it's like to back a book and fun reasons to back a book.
She ate a patch of pickled peppers.
That book I almost backed because it was just kind of weird. It's not a book I think I'm going to actually like. It's just a book that I thought was weird and different, which is refreshing these days when everything kind of looks the same. Mm-hmm. Something that doesn't look horrible. I mean, it looks horrible. It looks weird, but I wouldn't say horrible. I would say it's just different and weird, which is cool.
It's one of those things that you cannot avert your eyes from. So
yeah. Oh, dude,
mission accomplished.
That's what it's all about, right? And I don't care if it's like, the book itself is probably something I would hate. But, I mean, I gotta say, dude, how can you say no to this?
No.
Pretty easily over here.
It even works with the music. That makes it even better. You see what I'm saying? But no, for real, let's get serious here. I want to give a shout out to a book that I'm looking forward to. That's not Pitter Patter. This is something that I've already backed, and I'm excited. I'm excited. We got Rob Hunter's Death Raider graphic novel over here, and I am excited. He could use some backers, so anybody who wants to, go check this book out, I think it looks amazing. The artwork is awesome.
I've actually backed this one already, so, I'm just waiting on it now. But yeah, the art looks phenomenal, especially when you got that, like, background landscape and everything. You got the military zone. It's good, man. This is going to be a good book.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. He's put a lot of work into the artwork, and I don't know what else to say, dude. Go check this book out. I'm pretty sure you're going to, anybody who goes and looks at this, it's Death Raider, not DEATH, because I don't know if this one's shadow banned. There's a lot of books that are shadow banned in our corner. Mm-hmm. DETH Raider.
You got to everybody's going to be going over to fundmycomic pretty soon.
And if you can't find it on, if the shadow banning or whatever is a problem, you can always get on Twitter. Go find Rob Hunter. He's got links all over the place. Or go check out my Twitter. I've got the links on there too. So, Death Raider by Rob Hunter, man. All right, I'm going to show some artwork on this real quick. Because when I saw him drawing that cover, I was instantly sold on this thing, man. There's a few things like the fonts here, like some of the text. I'm like, ooh, man, he put so much work into the artwork. I'd like to see, I don't know, maybe this is just a placeholder or something. But, dude, look at this artwork, man.
Yeah, the artwork's great. There's no denying it there.
This one right here. Okay. Dude, so this piece right here blew me away when I saw him working on this. I wish it was in black and white because the black and white was like, holy crap, man. So
I'm actually glad that he colored this because for me, his black and whites, there is a lot going on, and I think colors definitely help my eyes differentiate between the depth and what's actually supposed to be part of that armor versus what's in the background. So thank you much on that one.
I liked that he had the stones to go so dark and to go high contrast with that. Yeah, I know that like you tend to want to conserve ink, like you don't want to be inking all of that stuff in sometimes.
All right.
But dude, it is accomplished on this.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit, not so much the designs, but those old Frank Frazetta. He did that one cover that had the sci-fi. Oh, I don't remember the name of that book, but it's a classic cover of his, where the monster's coming through the tunnel. It's like a spaceship or something. You got the spaceman, like kind of like shrieking or whatever. Well, all the detail put into all the background, all the hoses and all that. It's instantly where my mind went when I saw this piece. Like this little hose right here hanging off of that. It's freaking badass. So I'm like 100% sold on this book. He's got a bunch of cool stuff. The book itself starts off at, well, you can get the PDF for $7.
Yeah.
But if you're like, and I like PDFs, but if you want that,
Now, if you don't know who Rob
cover,
Hunter is, he's a
What's that?
penciler, he's an inker, cover artist, does a phenomenal job. Oh, if you don't know who Rob Hunter is, he's a professional comic book artist. Began in '95 for Malibu Comics on Free X or Freaks. And then he moved over to Marvel Comics and DC Comics in the late 90s. And then his most recent work that I know about is his New 52, Green Lantern, Justice League, and Suicide Squad.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. His book you can get, I think this is the one that I backed, the black and white cover B here. $25. And one of the things I like to do when we look at books is kind of see what you're getting for that. How big is this book?
I think it's 72 pages.
Really? Yeah. Oh no, that's 27 pages. That's 27 years. Rob Hunter story. 72 pages right here. 72 pages.
Okay.
Full color. That's
Right on the
actually a
money.
pretty
There
good
we go.
deal, man. Yeah, usually around that 100-page mark, everything goes to like $35 or $30. 72
Look at
pages is a solid. That's solid, dude, for
Yeah.
a good book. Plus, we got stretch goals. Another thing I like to look at is what else are we getting now, other than an amazing comic book? Everybody's got their opinions on stretch goals. Oh, real quick before I got to see, he's at 26,000 right now. 427.
Over 500 backers.
And he's in demand right now. 26. Oh, man, he's got to get way better than that. We got to get him way up there, you know. At 20,000 unlocked, everyone gets an Anna trading card. It's a character from the story. 23,000, you're going to get a Hercules trading card. 26 is where we're at. So you're going to get 3 trading cards. Team, is that Core?
Yeah,
Core?
Team Core.
Awesome. 3 trading cards, the book for $25. That's a good deal. That's awesome. And if we can get him up higher, we got another trading card coming. And if I'm not mistaken, this is his first campaign, so that's actually pretty impressive for a first campaign. So good luck, Rob Hunter. I hope you do amazing on this book. I'll keep shouting you out every time I can on Twitter and everything else. So
He's already done amazing. We're just trying to get more amazing now.
yeah, no
Yeah.
joke, dude. He's also one of the Comics Gate Kings, so that's something. He's the real deal, guys. They're gonna make sure you don't have anything to worry about when you're back. One of the things some people have a fear of when they're backing would be like knowing who they're backing. You know what I mean? Like, am I going to get my book, or have they fulfilled before? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's all these worries. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that with him.
I don't think you have to worry about it with him, but yeah, there's this consensus around our corner that, you either aren't going to get your book or it's going to be a late book. And more times than not, it's going to be a little late, especially if it's going to be phenomenal art. But at the same time, people need to remember, and I can't say this enough, you are helping fund a book be created. You're not funding a book that's already created.
Like, it's not a storefront. Like Indiegogo and the whole crowdfund thing.
Yeah, that's what you have eBay and your actual website for. This is crowdfunding because you're trying to fund something being completed.
Which, you know what? When I get my book going, when I finally get to that point where I'm putting a campaign up, I think I'm gonna have, or just be kind of nice to have some significant, like, hey, you were on the ground floor. You know what I mean? Not something like this is you either I get it a little cheaper because I got on the ground floor, or maybe I get an extra sticker or all the extra perks. I don't think people send the perks off when they sell the books later by themselves. But it may be something cool, like a little thank you certificate note. I've gotten that in a couple of books. That was like, hey, man, totally appreciate your support. This is a little thank you, Indiegogo. I think I want to do an Indiegogo cover. And then when everything goes, everywhere else after the campaign, have a separate cover for that. You know,
a lot of them do that. Like there will be special covers for certain platforms that you use. I know Embrace is doing it not only on Indiegogo, but they're over on Kickstarter now, and they're about to go to fundmycomic. But yeah, each one has different covers available. So it's crazy that they're able to do that. I could never do that. But when it comes to your campaigns, there's usually first off a mailing list. And when you sign onto the mailing list, you get some kind of tchotchke to go with it because you're trying to get there from the ground floor, like you were saying. And when I did it with Cobalt, first time around, you got a metal trading card. Second time around, I think you got either a Cobalt or Deathstalker magnet. And
I love magnets, dude.
People love metal trading cards. Shout out to Phoenix Animation, even though he's not around these parts much.
I met Phoenix over here in Waco at the comic book convention. That's how I remember somebody talking like on the 656, one of their live streams. They're saying, "Oh, we're going to be in Waco this weekend." I was like, "Hey, I'm in Waco. I got to go see these guys." And I met Phoenix. He's a cool dude. He had these awesome metal prints. He does a great job. Everything he does. So I want to see more of him. Where'd he go? He disappeared.
He does that shit full time now. I don't know. I used to be with him and B Rose over on B Rose's channel, and then he just started making that shit full time and getting licensing to make more characters and more art. I'm happy for him, dude. He's doing it full time and he's making bank. Go for it.
Now that's awesome. Now you mentioned the Embrace 2. You said that was on Kickstarter? The Embrace 2?
Yeah, Embrace 2 is now on Kickstarter, and it'll be on fundmycomic next.
7/12/24. I was trying to find the link to it. I can't find it. Anyways, I do have the Embrace 2 from the Indiegogo right here. Let me pull that up. So y'all gonna have to go look on Kickstarter because this one is closed, but it is on Kickstarter. So I just read the first one. And what'd you think of it? You know what? There's a few things. If I know he loves using, I don't know how much I should say because it is like I want people to go back this. A lot of people might not be aware of the first book. I like the first book. Let me just say that right off the bat. I like the first book. There was an interesting aspect of the first book regarding the powers.
Yeah,
and I'm seeing in this Embrace 2 the continuation of that power.
Yeah,
I love that paneling,
dude. It's the artwork's badass, and this is actually like way. The first book looked awesome, but the second book, this book it's a huge improvement, man. Like the artwork in this that I'm seeing here.
Yeah, you can tell there's phenomenal. A lot of detail.
The artist on the first one was Dean James, Comics Mate, and you can go check out his channel too. Then I believe he's the artist on issue 2 also. And when you look at them next to each other, you can see how he leveled up in his art. Just broke the ceiling and went straight to the stars.
Instantly, I noticed there's more backgrounds. The first issue, I noticed, like, they were like, "Oh, background." I could have used a background, but obviously somebody told him, because this is something else, man.
Is that a Simpsons reference?
Which one?
No. There's
and it looks like the Simpsons.
There's an admin on most of these shows. His name's Mo Biggs. So
that's for Mo Biggs.
I'm sure that's for Mo Biggs.
Huh. Well, I don't know. As far as spoilers alerts go, the one thing I would like to see that hold on. This is Michael's book.
Mm-hmm. Michael Odin. Right.
Michael Odin. One thing that I liked about the first book was the fact that the kid was like, "Oh, I read your comic book, so that gave me this idea to use this power in a certain way." And I'm seeing a lot of that in this. But what I'm worried about is that this is going to be a lot of Spider-Man stuff, right?
Mm.
But wouldn't it be cool if, you know what? I wonder if I can use this ability to do this other superhero and do something else, so that it's not just a bunch of Spider-Man tropes. You know what I mean? I love the Spider-Man. I love the artwork. But the idea is so cool that it's like, I want to see more. I want to see him like take it to the next level. You know what I mean? Or expand upon it. But
most definitely. It's very much kind of like this concoction of not really, but the closest thing I can think of just off the bat is like a Spawn Spider-Man just mashup. You know?
Yeah.
And I think it works really well. The costume is sick. You know, just the arms like coming over the suit and everything from each side.
I was gonna say I got Venom vibes on this.
You know what? I will say this, something that kind of was really like touching and awesome about the first book. The name, The Embrace, and then when you look at the costume and you know what that means, it's cool. That is a cool idea, man. And I'm excited to see where this story goes, actually. And now, of course, this particular campaign on Indiegogo is closed, so you got to go to Kickstarter to back number 2, and if you can get back number 1 as well, back it, dude, because it's a cool idea.
Yeah, I saw the cover that they're going to release on fundmycomic, and I'm pissed off that he's making me wait.
Which one? Is it one of these?
No.
Or is it a completely new one?
Completely new one. That's what I hate about it. He's got like so many different covers ready to go, and he's only giving them out to every specific platform individually, and it makes it to where you have to back every platform.
Oh no. You know what? That's one of the things about all these platforms. If you're gonna, you know what, and if he's doing it, that's cool. If you're gonna go to different platforms, yeah, do a different cover every platform, so that you're. I can see the frustration having to back from every platform, but if you're gonna go to a different platform, offer something a little different, different.
I think that shot right there.
Cool.
I think that's a cover from Michael Bancroft.
Oh, really? They look. You know what? Now that you mention it, that does look like Michael Bancroft. All right. Oh, he's got that glow in the. Is that a glow in the dark cover?
Yes, and I got it. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I backed.
Is it, dude? That's pretty badass. I wasn't aware of the Embrace until recently when I read the first one, and Jake, he sent it to me. He's like, "You got to read this."
Hey, when I got extras, I'll send them out to people that actually like indie comics, man.
That's no joke, dude. That was a good book. That was a good read. I was impressed. What Justice? Okay, Justice, not Vengeance. The Spectral Hero returns. Spectral. That's cool. That's cool advertising. All right, I want to get on to the next book because everybody, I think, definitely go check out The Embrace. I read the first one. The Embrace 2, it's on Kickstarter right now and soon to be on fundmycomic. It's pretty good, man. It's worth the read. But first, before we look onto this, Stanley, I don't think you've backed anything. So this is actually going to be an interest and guest. Have you backed books?
Have not.
I've never backed anything with Indiegogo or any of these. I've done other things, not with comic books. But
what's interesting, I'm kind of curious to get people's perspective, because obviously everybody who's backing books right now, well, we've all been kind of like being drawn into the scene and sold on the whole thing, right? And it's a lot of fun, man. I've been enjoying this. But trying to think of how to to sell it to people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what are you looking for? What is something that you?
What do you want to hear in a pitch?
Yeah,
dude,
pitch
that's
is a
good
idea.
call. Okay. I smell what you're stepping in here. There's not like a thing. Like you were talking about how there was 72 pages in that book, and I'll be honest, that piqued my interest a little bit, because if I'm hearing a 32 page, 36 page, whatever the like kind of the minimal amount is, I hear minimal effort. And so when you're talking about him doing 72 pages on top of the amount, like the quality of artwork that was in that book, neither one of those things, like I don't like if it's 16 pages of really great artwork, I'm kind of like,
ooh,
that's a little bit better than a poster, you know?
Yeah, that's a
but
pretty
the combination, 72 pages of that quality artwork, like I know how much work has to go into that. The combination of those two things is a selling point. I'll be honest with you though, probably the number one thing to me is it's going to be the story. Like you have to pitch me on a story, and that's a hard thing to do, especially today. Like everybody's got a story today, so you got to pitch me. And you gotta sell me hard on something. Or
also,
lag, yeah. I mean,
there's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of artwork, and you can sell artwork. You can sell an idea, but yeah, trying to sell somebody on a story that they haven't read, and you can't give away your story.
How do you do that? Like you got to be realistic about that too, because here's how that works. Yeah, I want you, number one, first and foremost, I want you to sell me on the story. I want an amazing freaking story. I don't want to hear the ending. I don't want to know all the twists and turns. I don't want to know the M. Night Shyamalan reveal at the end. But it has to have a good story. How are you going to sell me on it when you can't even tell me why it's an amazing story? It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, there's some books out there where the premise is pretty solid. One of my favorites is Cyberfrog. Cyberfrog's pretty basic. You don't have to get into the story with just saying Earth has been overrun with alien space hornets, and it's been 20 years. Cyberfrog's been in hiding, or he's been recovering. He's back, and now we're gonna say, how's he gonna save Earth? That's it. And then the rest of the story, that's the pitch, right? That's a horrible version of the pitch, but that's the pitch. The pitch is a hard thing to do because you have to get the premise across without too much. But if you have a solid premise, the pitch kind of falls into place, right?
You really need that elevator pitch. You've got to be able to sell it in 3 sentences.
Yeah. It's hard because a lot of people, they go when they're promoting their book, they go on a lot of different streams and trying to promote it to different, audiences and whatnot. And each time you're fine tuning your pitch more and more until you get on the bigger platform. And each time you're doing that, you're cutting away the fat, you're trimming it down, you're sharpening it. And by the end of it, you should have it full blown ready to go, and maybe 1 minute of pitch, and then the rest of it's just shooting the shit with everybody online.
There's a big part of the whole online, the social media aspect of this whole thing, right? One thing about working in the indies and the comics and everything, if you're an artist or a writer or whatever, the last thing that you really want to do, or that I guess is the inclination of these people, is to want to sell themselves. So a lot of times people get on these shows and it's kind of a snooze fest, right? It's okay, there are some people who understand the value of the cell and the personality and the radio voice, and that's probably why they do a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got a good personality, you can sell it. That helps. So anybody who's making a comic book, and you got to make the rounds on the live streams and everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the channels and the social media, and you got to sell yourself. You know,
That modern day marketing.
Yeah, modern day marketing.
Most
And
definitely.
man, it's and it sounds like half of me is like but the other half is like, dude, I have just bypassed back in like the 90s and shit when they had scouts and when you had to like really get out there.
Street
You had to,
teams.
Yeah, street teams. You really had to work your way up a crazy ass ladder to hit the mainstream. Well, now with social media, it's one of the good things about social media is you only have to sell yourself, and you can do it. Like anybody can do it now on YouTube. I'm trying right now, and I'm getting better. If you look at my first episode, I'm sure I'm better. I'm almost positive I'm better than I was in my first episode.
No, I was going to
Almost
tell you,
positive.
dude. You're kind of hitting the sophomore slump.
No, we're not talking about my views here. We're talking about my personality.
That's what I'm saying. Your personality. It's
Well, then I got to drink more, I guess.
not tequila though.
No, I already had tequila. But another thing. Oh, you know what? Before I get to that, Chris, guest. What is it that you are selling? Like, what are you buying? Right? Like, what are you looking for what would sell you on a comic book?
Well, it's like he brought up a lot of really good points. Like his first point that he brought up, 76 pages. That is like a big deal because especially with the fact that you're going to be spending like $30.
Yeah.
Like $40 sometimes. You want to at least get something that's like the size of an omnibus. That would be actually worthwhile.
Yeah. Totally. For $30, you could go to a comic book store and get, a pretty big book. Mm-hmm. So this is you're competing against that.
It's not even like a number thing either. Like, I don't want to make it seem like, I don't get out of bed for anything less than 72 pages. I'm not trying to sell it like that, but it's like, if you commit to 72 pages, that's a lot. And
that is a lot.
Like that's a commitment to work. Like, I just see like a commitment I see passion when I see that number. It's the only reason I say it.
Well, now here's the catch-22 to that. I see 100 pages, and I think, oh, yeah, and then I read it, and I realize half of it's filler. So then I'm going to have to look at some of this artwork and see in the artwork itself, okay, if this, like Death Raider here, I look at Death Raider, and I'm like, okay, I see enough of the pages here. I can bet that most of the pages are going to be looking like this, right? But if I'm looking at this, I'm going to be like, this is a 100-page book right here.
So how many pages was this?
I don't know if I could read this book for 100 pages. It better be a damn good story.
There's just no way.
Get the music. Hit the music, dude. That's where you need the music. It's for that one right there.
You're right. Hold on. Where am I even at with the music? It's up.
There it is.
There it is. That actually kind of fits. Enough of that crap. Another thing about these books is I'm gonna hit pause on the music. Trailers. Because if I'm just some guy scrolling through Indiegogo, which is I do like to do, I'm sure there are people, at least a couple more people like me, that like to scroll through pages. These Indiegogo comics. You just go to Indiegogo comics, and there's a lot, man. And I'm having a hard time figuring out whether I want to just scroll through Indiegogo and just click on comics that pop out to me. But I've selected a couple. But trailers is an important thing. We're gonna watch Death. How long is this trailer? Let's hit play and find out. Can y'all hear this, or is it not sharing the audio?
Yeah,
no audio.
No audio?
No audio.
Oh, I shared it wrong. Well, it's got some rock and roll going on here.
Oh, it says 100 pages in the video.
Is it 100 page? Oh yeah, look at that, dude. That's a 100-page book of this stuff. Okay, so let me pull up this audio here. Let me pull up my music, and then we'll watch this video. Otherwise, I got to share a different screen and watch these. That looks pretty cool. The trailer looks pretty cool for Death Raider.
I don't know who did it, but they did phenomenal.
That is well done. Yeah.
There are some trailers that are
atrocious.
They're hard to watch, man. The audio, they'll have like these weird, or what was it we watched last week? The guy, he's like pitching. He's doing the pitch. Was the trailer right?
Yeah,
and he talked about it.
It was like a 30-second clip.
Something
out
as
of the 30-second clip, I think he spent 20 seconds talking about himself and 10 seconds talking about the actual product he was trying to sell.
Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot of story. Like I don't know anything about that comic other than essentially the pictures of it.
It wasn't even colorful when he was doing it. Like it was him in like a white T-shirt against like a mustard stained background of a room. It was.
Hey! That's the color I'm going on my house right now. So take it down a notch.
I'm just saying, there's some paint out there.
Are you opening a McDonald's?
Get the golden arc going.
Basically, the way we do dinner here, yeah.
So there's another one I'm excited for.
Okay.
That I'm actually working on some sketch cards for. I'm sorry, Phil. I'm still working, but if you knew my schedule, man, you'd understand. Like my schedule is insane. Psycho Slumber, the Lost Pages, the Kill Journal crossover. Doing these sketch cards, I had to go do some research on this Kill Journal, which is another project, another book. So he's doing a crossover with Lost Pages, which I have read, and I like Lost Pages, man. That is a cool book.
Does that really say Zed Comics has only done one campaign? Because I call BS.
Yeah, no, that's weird. Because I know he's done Lost Pages 1, 2, 3, and now this one at least. That's weird. Or was the other ones under Phil Diaz?
That might be it.
Okay, so Psycho Slumber. Dude, the artwork right off the bat looks freaking badass. Like he always has awesome artists on his books.
Yeah, that's stellar. The dude in the hoodie is what gives me the creeps.
Dude, that line work on that.
Dude, this is the is this Hunter? Rob Willis. This is Rob Willis. Rob Willis is a badass artist, man. So we got a Rob Willis cover here. I'm looking at this on the right over here. 60 pages, $25.
Not bad.
Of this stuff. And Crimstone is one of my favorite. What's that?
I said 60 pages for 25 is what's becoming expected of people nowadays.
It's kind of the standard right at the moment.
Yeah, that seems standard to me.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the other thing. Like, 60 pages is not bad. That's not bad at all. But they put a lot of work into the actual binding and the covers of their books. Like, it's got this weird, almost rubber texture to the covers. I don't know, what do you call that? That's not the UV spotting or anything, is it? I don't know what they call that, but it's like a weird, almost rubbery texture to it. Like, it's real classy. It feels really nice. I love, and the pages are thick, good pages. I like it. They do a good job with their books. And the artwork on this one is exciting. And after reading the Kill Journal, or like reading bits and pieces of it, I'm actually excited for this because this kind of works. Crimstone is kind of like, he's an imaginary friend over here of this girl right here. Had like a rough childhood. She fights crime now. And with the power of Crimstone, like she becomes like more powerful or stronger and stuff. It's a horrible pitch, I know, but the way I'm selling it, but it is a really cool.
To me.
It's cool. The Kill Journal is another cool book. It's about the lives of the people who survived horror movies, like the characters in a horror movie that survive the horror, and kind of like how they deal with it. And so some of them, like this guy right here, he basically is, I'm gonna go kill the horror people, right? So it's a really cool mix. You got this imaginary kind of character along with these horror movie fiction, characters. I can kind of see how you could merge those two together and have a horror imagination kind of a story. And then when you get to some of this artwork and some of like you can kind of start to tell you've got this chainsaw guy. What would he be like? Is like a mix between one of the Xenobites, or what are those called from Hellraiser?
Yeah, Cenobites.
Cenobites. He looks like a Cenobite meets fucking Freddy Krueger or something.
Mad Max.
Yeah, I see a little bit of Max in there myself.
Oh yeah. It's just a cool looking book, man. This is like what I'm talking about. So no more pitter patter. This is the book to go check out right here, dude. Psycho Slumber. I'm gonna probably be back in as soon as I get a paycheck.
Yeah, I think I'll be back in this one.
It looks awesome, man. And all the Lost Pages books are good. They're really awesome. So if he's got them on here, I wonder if he's got the tiers on here. Yeah, the LP digital collection, $70. That's a lot of work. That sounds like a lot for digital, but he's got a lot of stuff. Lost Pages. What are you getting? Psycho Slumber 60-page digital copy plus the Lost Pages digital collection, which includes the LP Tomb, which is 212 pages. LP1, Myths of the Lost Pages. LP2 and the Lost Pages 300 pages.
Shit.
That's confusing. That's a lot of stuff you're getting there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if he has the physical. The Killer Catch-Up. Well, this looks like the physical tier of a catch-up. You get the Kill Journal and the Lost Pages for $85. And those are big books. So for a catch-up tier where you're getting all these books to kind of get caught up, that's not bad.
Yeah, especially with that page count.
Yeah, dude, that's a lot of work you're getting right there. I'm kind of curious to see how what you need to be caught up on to kind of go to get the story, right? Basically, you've got this guy who tells the stories of the Lost Pages. And that's what the comic book is about, all those stories. Kill Journal I have not read, but the synopsises and everything that I read look pretty freaking awesome, man. So I can kind of see how they would all work together to do this.
It's just great art. The art itself sells it.
This is the Lost Pages 3 cover right here. What about...
Look how thick that book is. Go, look at that.
Well, actually...
That is huge.
Man, I've got it now. I could pull it up, but... Yeah, that's not a photograph of the book. That's like some stock photo with like a...
Oh, okay.
It's not quite that big.
Well, fool me once.
But it is a pretty big book. I will give him that. Now, stretch goals. Oh, man.
To be determined.
You get all three of those question marks.
Yeah, right.
All right. Where are we at with the funding then? 6,000. So that's probably why we don't know about the stretch goals. We're kind of waiting to see. You still got 20 days left. 20 days left on this campaign. We're at 6,795, which is way too low.
I thought it'd be higher by now.
I thought it'd be at least around 10,000 by now. I don't know. I don't know. Do you know, Jake, if he's on Fund My Comic?
I do not know the in and outs of this one. No.
When I do a Fund My Comic episode, I'm gonna just scroll through the Fund My Comic pages, like the books, because there's some interesting ones on there too. But Fund My Comic's a little different than Indiegogo. Right now, Indiegogo is my favorite one because I like their setup. It's not hard. You can be safe backing it with financials and all that because it's a big one. Not to say that Fund My Comic isn't. It's just that's a concern that some people are having is because it's such a new website. there is a question about it, and I know Luke's a good guy. I don't think Luke's a trustworthy guy. Like he's like a preacher or something, right?
Yeah, used to be. I don't think he is anymore. Yeah, I think he took a different route. But it is his website, and I'm sure he's got like NordVPN or some shit set up for security. I don't know, but I'm sure he's not going to do anybody wrong.
Yeah, no, Luke Stone's a pretty cool dude, from what I can tell, at least. But anyways, that's the concerns people have. I like Indiegogo because I kind of like. I like that you got the perks on. You got your everything set up with all the different tiers that you could back. You've got, I just like this. And fundmycomic is similar, but they don't have add-ons. I wish they had add-ons. Because basically, when you back a book here, you can click on it, and then you say, I want to get this perk. And don't show any of my personal information, but right here, these are all the add-ons that you can get, right? You just tack it onto your order. And I like that. It's very convenient. Also, Alterna does a great job with add-ons. You can almost buy everything from his store on the add-ons. So, Psycho Slumber, guys, what do you think? Does this look cool?
Looks
something you might back?
I'm sold on it.
I definitely back this.
One of the things I was going to bring up was about concept. That's another big thing for me when it comes to selling it. Like in manga, for instance, they have a thing called isekai. And isekai is kind of the fish out of water kind of story where it's like one person gets sent to another world and they got to experience everything with fresh eyes, like the viewer is there. The problem is it's been done so much that almost the entire industry is just sick of it. So you got thousands and thousands of them, and people were just like, "Please, no more."
That's interesting. That is a I don't want to call it a trope. It is something that storytelling that it's a good means of telling of introducing a viewer to a universe. It is introducing them through like you learn the universe through the eyes of a character that is also learning it.
Right.
That's a good one. It works.
The problem with that, though, so I like it and it does work. However, like I wholeheartedly agree with you on that, on the issues with that concept. Another problem with that is that it is very hard to carry that over. Like once you have learned the universe and you've learned all the rules of the universe, man, those next episodes are a lot harder to carry. They're a lot harder to carry once you have done the introduction, because that introduction thing doesn't exist anymore. Like you've done it.
Yeah. Origin stories are what really make a book excel. And then because afterwards it just becomes all the same thing for most, characters and their stories. But how they become who they're supposed to be, that is what, most people climb to. That's why we've seen Batman do it 4 times already.
Exactly right. Yeah, they can't. They have a hard time doing that next. Like with Batman, they can't do the next stage of his journey because it is the origin story. That's like, and on so many of those stories, look at Marvel. Every movie that they are like crapping out these days is always somebody's origin story over and over and over again. It's the same like template that they're using for them all.
Well, at least they were for a minute. Lately, they've taken a break from that lately. Like I'd say the last 5 years, without the exception of.
Like, well, you have like the Marvels, you have Miss Marvel, you have Ant-Man, and I'm not saying that like Ant-Man wasn't bad, but that's what all of those are. Like all those movies were initially the origin story of all these characters, and then it was like by the end of a lot of those movies, maybe not Ant-Man, but maybe the other ones, it was like, I do not want to see the next stage of this journey.
Captain Marvel, I felt like I had to watch it. I didn't have any interest in watching that movie, but I felt like I had to because the end game and all that was coming up.
It was just right before. They delivered that one at the right time.
Yeah, that's the only thing that saved it. And what was the other one that they had? Like Black Widow or whatever that movie was. I didn't watch it. Didn't watch the Eternals because I didn't care about any of this. And they didn't sell me on it either. Like I don't care about all the stupid YouTubers out there saying, oh, this movie's going to suck because of this and that. It just didn't look good to me. You know, I don't know anything about the Eternals. This just wasn't a book that I read, and they didn't sell me on it.
Angelina Jolie as a warrior when she's at the age of 65.
Yeah. But it's nice to see some refreshing new ideas, right? Like this Lost Pages is it's kind of refreshing to see. It's something. It's like pseudo akin to the Max, I guess. Like when I read the Max, I was blown away when I was growing up reading that because it was completely different than anything else I had ever read. Now, of course, I was a lot younger, so I hadn't really read a whole lot. But that was
they had
still
that
awesome.
MTV tie-in too on that, like.
Yeah. But I'm like, I love it when I see an idea that I've never heard of anything like this. And when I was learning about the Kill Journal as well, I was like, this is a really cool, it's not, so-and-so happened to mommy and daddy, so I got to go fight crime. Or so-and-so, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same old things.
His mom's name's not Martha?
Yeah, right? No, it was like, okay, what happens to all the people in those horror movies that survive? What do they do after? You know, they go to Horror Survivor Anonymous, and they talk about their problems. You know what I mean, or whatever. It's a cool concept. Group. And that's how that book. If I'm not mistaken, that's how it starts. I know I read a couple pages in there where they were at a support group talking about it, and I'm like, this is actually a really good idea. So
there was a book that I just read that was, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was a really good book, and it was all based around a kid who was the killer character in a movie back in the 90s, and stuff happened. They don't tell you initially what happened, but like stuff happened. People actually died making the movie, but the whole story, or the majority of the story, is set when he's like 40. And it's like a cult classic now. So he's, as a 40-year-old, he has to go to these, you know, shows, Comic-Con and stuff like that, and be that character and try to sell a reissue of this movie after everybody died and he like lost a finger and all this stuff. That based on like exactly what you're talking about, it was a good story. You know what I mean? Like the telling that idea of like surviving that whole thing and then having to be that character at Comic-Con.
Oh yeah. All right, here's another one. Moving on to the next book here. I've heard about this, but I've not read it. I don't know anything about this book. But I did see some artwork that I thought looked pretty slick, so I was going to show it. Writhe in Pain.
Oh, okay.
Chris Graves. Jake, what do you know about this book? You probably know more than I do.
I haven't read it yet. That's what I know about it.
Oh, really? Okay. This is Writhe in Pain 2 is out right now. We are currently funding. With 22 days left to go, we're at $10,908. Let's take a look. What we got? Do we see any page? 48. Okay. 48 pages. That's that X-Men Jim Lee size book. 48 pages. Wasn't it? 48 page special?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the kind of book to compare it to. Writhe in Pain, $25. This
48 pages.
That's 48 pages for 25. Now we're getting into like the. All right, what else is coming with this book? Because I tell you what, the cover does look badass. I'll give them that. I think it's a lot to ask, $25 for a book. So let's take a look and see what this is all about here. This is badass cover right here. This is John Malin's. And John Malin's artwork, man, I fucking love his artwork.
Yeah, that says a lot just in and of itself.
Yeah. All right. What do we got here? Writhe in Pain is the black and white edition. Interiors. Is this the interiors? Interior pages.
Looks like it. That is.
Well, that's interesting.
That's stellar.
That's well done.
Yeah, I like the colors and the artwork. Everything goes really well together. Sometimes you'll see colors. You'll see awesome artwork, and the colors are kind of like, ugh. You know, like it doesn't work.
Yeah. The muscles on this dude are like Mr. Universe. Like you see the pectoral flesh. just rippling.
I was just gonna say he's got a 12-pack.
Did Chris Graves work on the Spawn or something? Because this looks like Spawn, dude. Like I'm not saying this is like, oh, he's just taking this from Spawn. I'm saying like the artwork is like very Spawn. Like I probably, if
That's
you did,
so
I probably read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, I'm getting sold on this $25 price ticket now. Catch up tier, Rather Than Pain 1, which I heard a lot of good things about Rather Than Pain 1. I've only heard about it and I didn't back it, so I haven't personally read it. Dude, that's fucking sick right there. Oversized black and oh fuck yeah, I love it when they do oversized editions, right? Oversized black and white reprint. I love oversized.
Put it when you shelve it because it doesn't fit in my long box.
I got a shelf just for that. It's gonna go right next to Weapon X, dude. That Weapon X Gallery Edition, whatever, was freaking awesome.
That's the problem that I had with my Mavericks book. It's a great, oversized book, but it doesn't fit in my long box, so I got to put it on the shelf, just standing up there.
Be mindful of that. When you put out a comic book, you want to go oversized because there's not room just to shove that thing on a shelf. It's got to sit on the desk. It's got to sit on top of everybody in its own box.
Noted.
Yeah, I love those oversized ones. Now I'm curious how oversized, because what is it? Those, like you were saying, Mavericks. That's that classic comic magazine dimension. Right. So it's bigger, and even Golden Age. Some Golden Age books were bigger, right? So I don't know. Is oversized? When I think oversized, I think that what is that size? It's just under 11 by 17. It's just smaller than the original. I don't remember. I don't know what the dimension is, but that Weapon X
9?
Is it?
I don't know. Yeah,
maybe the that oversized the gallery edition I have of Weapon X. They just put out, I think, last year or maybe the year before. Dude, that thing is badass. I love being able to look at the artwork up close. So, good job on that. That's a good idea right there.
Biker Mice from Mars.
Biker Mice from Mars.
I haven't seen them in a minute.
Haunted Pizza has teamed up with Oni Press and the Nacellaverse to create this exclusive variant cover by Chris Graves and Anthony George to Biker Mice from Mars 3. Add one to your order for only $10. Hey, that's sweet.
That's nice.
Series 1 trading cards. I love trading cards. I have a whole binder full of trading cards. You can get Spawn Con exclusive cards for $30.
I'm ready to see some trading cards in this arena that are more akin to like Magic and Pokemon. I want some battling cards.
Oh, that'd be interesting to have a whole game. Know, earlier I was going to say you were talking about marketing, and I bit my tongue on it because it didn't really fit into the conversation, but I like the whole concept of doing like an ARG, an alternate reality game on the internet to market stuff. And the idea of doing a like a card game versus like just image cards, that's a cool idea.
You did. That's a lot of work, but actually they've already got the the template laid out.
The only thing I would say is just have one person at the helm taking care of the powers and the HP and all that stuff, because people are too sensitive to let their character take an L.
So you're talking about like say for Comicsgate, everybody taking their characters and putting it in the series, right?
Oh yeah.
Interesting. Because they try to do that
just like Pokemon, battle them out.
Well, they try to do that with that comic, that card series. Who just put that series out? That was
Adam Miller.
Adam Miller. Yeah, Adam Miller just did that. And so there were some issues with IPs being allowed into that. Hey, we got Benjamin Soto in the house. Just got here. Looks like I missed a pitter-patter hype. Yes, he did. And I'm stand by it. We actually did talk about the pitter-patter for a minute. Every ongoing character starts at Act 1 and is eternally in Act 2. The growth and change eventually has to fall on the supporting cast. Yeah, I mean,
Well
if you're
said.
an ongoing series, yeah, totally. There are these. I
don't like that, but I don't disagree.
Well, I mean, if you're like the X-Men, and so the story's never going to end, it kind of does have to.
Yeah.
And
See, I'm a
perpetually
huge.
be in it.
I don't like that. I think that you need, like, I am a firm believer in the 3-act structure. I think that you need an ending. You should be focused on the ending, and everything should be leading up to that. Otherwise, you get The Walking Dead.
Okay,
Yeah.
but think about it like this: you could have stories that have that within the X-Men, like all of their arcs. Pretty much every arc has the act structure in it, but it ends with like either right back at the beginning, or it ends with just a scar, with some scars of the event.
But they
You move
lose
forward.
value because none of that stuff ever, like, plays into the next iteration 3 months from now.
I mean, that's one way to write a story, but I do think that the ongoing story structure, like Spider-Man, it's the stories about the individual stories, right? It's not like a one.
It becomes The Simpsons.
It does, and that is kind of a problem that I think might have led. One of the aspects that led to why comic books nowadays are almost unreadable in the mainstream is because of the fact that they have told so many stories, and it's not that there aren't more stories to tell, but the problem is you have so many different things happen to these characters over 60 years, which I did we did a live stream not too long ago called Let Them Die, because how many stories can you tell before you have to start turning them into girls and having them get surgery, or, you know what I mean, making them gay or something.
I am a firm believer in killing off characters and letting them stay dead.
Or bring them back as zombies in The Walking Dead.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, even Marvel did it, and DC's doing it right now with vampires.
Over and over and over again.
So we got Writhe in Pain, stretch goals, $10,000, 6 a.m. comics magnet. I like 6 a.m.'s magnet. I like his work. He does these really cool, like, what would you call that style? It's not chibi. It's not chibi art, but it's like
I
kinda
would
cartoony.
say Codename Kid Next Door.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good one. Kid Next Door. And I love magnets. And then at 20,000, we're looking at a Corey Barton 6x9 print.
Oh wow!
I was hoping a little more for the stretch goals, to be honest, but
It's not bad.
the artwork is pretty badass. So this one's like, you know what? I might back it. I might be inclined to back it. It seems a little short, but then again, you don't want to stretch it out. But then again, I've seen guys sell, like 48-page books for 15. But then again, those guys weren't, Chris Graves.
As long as they show how they figured out that the golf club worked against the villain, I'll be happy.
Yeah, as long as it's got a golf club, as long as they beat the villain over the head with a golf club at the end.
I just want to know how they figured out it would work.
Nexus was a fun book, man. I really did like Nexus. I wish I knew everybody's credentials. Do you know Chris's credentials? He looks like this is. This looks like Spawn, man, right here. Yeah, who wrote it? Written by Mark Polton, which is Evangeline Savage Hawkman. Okay. Art by Chris Graves, Vampirella, and Glorious Rex 3 supplemental. I know both
I
of
can
those.
see the Vampirella in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
definitely.
going to say.
I'm surprised Spawn's not on there, because Todd McFarlane's always looking for people for Spawn.
Well, Vampirella's not too far off from Spawn.
No, it's not. Now, I have seen some Vampirella that was, bad. Really, really bad. But I'll
I've
pull
seen
that
some
up.
cosplay that are bad.
I've seen some, bro, I'll have to bring it up next time. I might have even shown it on a previous live stream where the artwork was It was bad, dude. It was really bad. And I usually have that book. I usually have like, oh, I'm going to talk about this a lot. So I usually keep it near me, but I thought I got over that, but I guess I needed it more of it, you know?
Nah, it's fair that you get to talk about people's art and what's good and not, because you are an artist. So,
I mean, even people who aren't artists should be able to talk about it, right?
I mean, I can, but I'm not going to hold much weight.
You can talk about what you see, how it affects you. I could talk about, like, technique, I guess. I could talk about how it affects me and what I would have done differently, but
right.
I don't think you have to be an artist to be able to talk about art. In fact, I don't think you have to be a critic to talk about, you know, to talk about a movie. There's been a lot of talk out lately about, oh, well, these people they can't talk about a movie because they're uncultured swine. Okay, yes, if you're a critic, you try to critique it on YouTube, maybe you should look into becoming a little more educated on...
That argument falls apart when you base the whole idea of word of mouth is the best way to market.
Well,
and
YouTube is word of mouth. If
something sucks, nobody's going to be interested. But if you say
here's
that
a
movie
question.
Great,
here's the question on that. Who's it for?
Well, the audience on YouTube, right?
So they are the ones who have the last say, regardless of whether or not they are artists or philanthropists, whatever they are. Like, and they're probably not artists. They're probably not movie criticists, criticize whatever the term. I don't know.
Critics,
but like, yeah, they're not like you're not making a movie for an audience of critics. You're not making a comic book for an audience of artists. So at the end of the day, you can have all the art criticism that you want. It is the audience that gets the final say on that book.
Yeah, that's true. No, it's a problem when you have a bunch of people on YouTube, and this is where it's a 50-50 thing, because you have a lot of people on YouTube who are talking about a movie from the audience perspective, not necessarily a critic's perspective. Right. And so they say, oh, this movie sucks. Meanwhile, it actually, from a critic's perspective, is genius because it has all these things that your average person probably doesn't pick up on. So it's not that you can't say anything, but when that's your channel is as a critic, like, I mean, so right now I'm like looking over all these campaigns. I am not some campaign critic or whatever. I'm not like some expert in all this. I look at this stuff and I'm like, okay, this, as a backer, this looks pretty cool. This looks interesting. But and I could comment on the artwork and what it does or whatever, but maybe there's something I'm missing. I'm not actually trying to make a critique about it. There's a problem right now with people trying to sound like critics, but they're really just audience commentators, I guess.
That's anybody on Twitter.
Yeah, that's everybody on you. Like most of the people on YouTube, and a lot of people most people on Twitter too. Yeah,
that's Reddit, is what it is. That's Reddit.
It's an interesting debate right now because there's some, both sides. I kind of understand both sides. Everybody should be able to say whatever the hell they want, but I would at least add the caveat that I'm just a guy that whether or not if I want to buy it or back it or watch it. This is why I'm going to not watch it. It's not going to be because some jackass said, oh, this blah, blah, blah. You need to know about the history of the director. We're not going to watch that. No, I look at it and I'm like, that looks like it could be funny. Like Pitter Patter.
Anybody who does that, like, I understand you might need some, some references or something, like you want to look into something. Like, if I'm buying a video game, I am very selective. Like, I'll buy, a video game a year, one a year. So I'm very picky about it. And you're damn right. I'm going to look at, a bunch of the things that people say, like game ranks, what culture gaming and stuff like that. See what they have to say about a game before I ever, jump in and actually lay down money on that thing. So I understand that. But at the same time, I am not going to base my entire judgment on the thing that they say. I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm going to get this game, but only if Game Ranks tells me to. I'm not going to do that. And people who are ordering comic books, you need to understand what's important to you. for one, if it's important that you are buying something from an established artist, which a lot of these guys really are, then, you know, just look into the stuff before you go in and buy it. But like everything you pulled up today, this was all quality work. This was all good stuff. All stuff I'd be completely comfortable backing myself.
Out of everything we've looked at right now, and then we're gonna call it everything that we've looked at, guys. What stands out to you, Stanley, is the one I might back that book, which is the one that you might actually be interested in out of all of these. That's
the Psycho Slumber, dude. The artwork on that one, so I didn't hear any of the storylines, like little pieces like what you told me.
And to be fair, I don't even talk to you about these books.
No, yeah, this is like I came in fresh on this, and
Yeah.
I have no clue what I'm talking about with anything. But just like the elevator pitch that I got looking at these today, Psycho Slumber was the one where I was like, "Ooh, that looks kind of cool." Like I'm intrigued. I'm interested on that one.
All right. Now, what about you, guest? Any books that stand out? Like, I might actually go back that.
Psycho Slumber was another one I also thought was really good. I like the concept of it, actually. The idea of
me
like
too.
taking survivors and having them almost like turn the tables. Like the Monster Hunter trope. I really like it, and I feel like that's a good concept with this one. And then I enjoyed the last one too, but I wanted to know more about it. That's all.
That'd have been my second.
Yeah. And to be fair, I didn't talk a whole lot about Death Raider and like the story. I'm not even too familiar what the story is on that one because I need to go through it. I didn't read it, the synopsis and all that. You know what I mean? Mercs and all that kind of stuff. So I did talk about Embrace a little, Psycho Slumber, and then Writhe in Pain. I don't know anything about this book other than what the art looks like, but it is intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Jake,
honestly,
what about you?
Death Raider.
sorry.
Wouldn't be bad. My bad. I was going to say Death Raider didn't look bad.
Go.
We talked about it. We talked about it a lot already in the past, so it's like, oh, okay, there's that one.
Yeah, I had to give Rob a shout out, man, because he's getting there, and we got to get that book. He's also in Florida, so he's dealing with some shit right now.
Yeah, he is.
That sucks.
Yeah, so I want to see some support going his way for sure. I think out of all of these, I've already backed Death Raider, so I think Psycho Slumber is probably going to be on my list as the next one I'd be backing.
I've already backed Death Raider. I've already backed Embrace 2. So now it's just backing Psycho Slumber and Writhe in Pain 2. I have the first Writhe in Pain, haven't read it, but the art's so great. There's no reason not to buy the second one just to go along with it. So I'll probably do it just to add on to the collection. And then Psycho Slumber, standalone, even though it has two characters from ongoing series in this one. I don't know if it's going to be a one-off or not, but if it is, it looks like it's going to be a phenomenal piece, and I'm happy to back that one too. I'd back all four of those. Get Pitter Patter out of here.
Right,
that was third on my list.
That's on my. You know what, Jake? That's first on my list now. You think screw all this awesome shit? I'm gonna go get Pitter Patter. Pitter Patter.
Needs to come
Right
with
now.
Needs to come with a soundtrack for the stretch goals.
Yeah, right. Dude, all right.
Benjamin agrees with me.
Well, this has been a fun one, guys. Next time I got a lot of cool books. There's so many to go check out on Indiegogo. These are just a couple, and we've still got fundmycomic. And I'm not a big fan of Kickstarter, but if you like TNA cover 50 variant covers for a book, who knows if the book's good, but you need 50 variant TNA covers, go to Kickstarter. I'm excited. There's a couple of books I want to talk about next time that I have been getting in the mail that I was excited to talk about. Jake, I want to see your collection because you backed a lot of books, man.
Bro. A lot of books.
Yeah.
A lot of good books, a lot of mid books, but I mean, when you meet the creators, you just want to help them create what they're passionate about. But it's time to get an editor, people.
All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of a call out here and say I want to know the single worst book you ever backed, but I don't want to know it right now. I want you to name that the next time there's a stream, as soon as this one hits 20 likes, I want to hear the worst one you ever backed.
Or the best one, too. Best and worst. Although the worst is more interesting.
No, we want to know the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, the worst is actually more interesting. I agree. All right, guys. Well, it was fun. I'll catch you next time. And let's see here. Go back, some books. Stanley, I got all the links in the description and everything. I'm not sure exactly how to end it, so I'm just going to go ahead and say...
Now get out! And I'll tell you when I want you back!